Hello and welcome back to Math with Lou. Today we're going to be talking about our order of operations, or more commonly known as PEMDAS. PEMDAS is a little mnemonic trick here to help us remember what our order of operations are, and they go as follows. P is for parentheses, E is for exponents, M multiplication, D division, A addition, and S subtraction. When we are evaluating numbers or expressions, this is the order in which we must start simplifying our terms. Something really important that I wanted to comment on here, and you can see I made a note for multiplication, division, as well as addition, subtraction. They are both interchangeable. Multiplication, you could switch around with division, and addition, you could switch around with subtraction. So when you see something that says, 3 divided by 2 times 5, we would read this left to right, and we would actually do the division first, then the multiplication. This is not a strict multiplication then division. It is whichever you see first, and the same applies for addition, subtraction. And the reason for that is pretty simple. Division is nothing more than the inverse of multiplication. Same with subtraction. That is nothing more than the inverse of addition. So because they're each other's inverses, they're essentially the same thing. It's just a different way of looking at it, essentially. All right. So now that I have our definitions down over here, we're going to scroll down a little bit and take a look at a first example here. So this first example I have here is 14 plus 18 divided by 2 times 18 minus 7. So reading this left to right, we have no parentheses, we have no exponents, and because I said multiplication and division are interchangeable, we're going to do the division first because it comes first left to right. So step 1 is our 18 divided by 2. We're going to simplify that here, and 18 divided by 2 is 9. So now 14 plus 9 times 18 minus 7 is our new expression. So again, there's no parentheses, no exponents. Left to right, the first thing we see is multiplication. We're going to do that next. So now we do 9 times 18. 9 times 18 becomes 162. So our new expression is 14 plus 162 minus 7. Now, going left to right, the only things we have left are addition and subtraction. So because we read it left to right, we're going to do the addition first, even though it doesn't matter, but it's good practice anyway. So we do 14 plus 162. That's going to come out to 176. Then our last step is we do 176 minus our 7. And when we do that, we get our final answer for this statement, which is 169. I have another example here for us to walk us through, and I threw in this example because now we're throwing in parentheses. So this one has 2 sets of parentheses. So we have to focus on those first because, again, P is our first letter in PEMDAS. We got to do what's inside the parentheses first. So we're going to focus on the left one, which is 11 plus 42 minus 5. 11 plus the 42 becomes 53, and then minus 5 is 48. So now our expression is 48 divided by 11 minus 3. So because we have another set of parentheses, that's what we're going to focus on next. Next, we're going to focus on the 11 minus 3. So we take 48, divide that by 11 minus 3. We simplify this here, and that gives us 48 divided by 8. So because this is the last mathematical operation in our problem, it's the last one we do, 48 divided by 8, and that simply gives us 6. All right. So I have one more example here I want to talk about, and this one I would like for us to do together instead of just having me prepare it. So we have 4 times, in parentheses, 12 times 6 minus 4 squared, and then this whole thing is squared, plus 9. So this was going to encapsulate everything. So let's get started. So our first operation that we perform is parentheses. So we're going to focus inside of here first. So I'm going to rewrite that, and I'm going to put what we're going to focus on in red. So this is 4 times, parenthesis, 12 times 6 minus 4 squared, close the parentheses. This whole thing is squared plus 9. So we're going to look inside of here first. And when we look inside of our parentheses, again, we apply our logic of PEMDAS. There's no parentheses within our parentheses, but we do have an exponent in here. So this must be evaluated first, the 4 squared. So we're going to evaluate that. And we're going to have 4 times, I'm going to put everything back in red, 12 times 6 minus 16. Now this is squared plus 9. Okay, so we're going to keep focusing inside of our parentheses here because we still have more stuff to do. P, parentheses, no more exponents. Left to right, first thing we see is multiplication. That's what's going to be next. So we're going to transfer down our 4 times, put our parentheses back up, and we have 12 times 6, which comes out to 72 minus 16. This thing is squared plus 9. Okay, and we're almost done with these parentheses here. We have the last operation to perform, which is 72 minus 16. So we're going to do this now, and we have 4 times. Go back to red, and our parentheses now is going to be the number 56. Oops, keep the red. This thing is going to be squared plus 9. Okay, so because this is the only term left in our parentheses, there's nothing left to simplify, we can effectively drop them. The parentheses are no longer needed, so I'm going to rewrite this without parentheses. 4 times 56. I'm going to put the squared in red because that's what we need to focus on next, plus 9. Okay, so yes, according to Pemdas, we have no parentheses, but we do have an exponent. We have this 56 squared here. So as a reminder, when something is squared, that means we multiply it by itself that many times. Because it's a 2, we're going to multiply 56 by itself twice. So 56 times 56. And that's going to be a big number. It's going to give us 3,136, and we're going to transfer that down. 4 times 3,136 plus 9. Okay, so we have no parentheses, no exponents, and we have multiplication in here. So that's going to be the next thing we do because that is the third step in our order of operations, the M for multiplication. So we're going to figure out what this number is. This is pretty big, so I'm just using a calculator now. I don't feel like doing this in my head. And 4 times 3,136 comes out to a whopping 12,544. And then our last step is to simply add 9 to this, which is going to give us our final answer for this expression, which is 12,553. All right, so I'm going to put the notes for this video in the description. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.